Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, getting some TA. All right, guys, so I do want to point out QQQ has stalled out. High of day is right around our 498.44 resistance. Above there, we have 501.01 and then 503.52. On the downside of support, we're just going to come down to the 15-minute time frame. We are watching 496.78. That is where this low over here is from that wick. We are getting some reactions around there. And then under there, we're watching 495.54. If you see a 15-minute close underneath 495.54, we are probably going to be taking a trip down to 493.70, which is going to be the high of this candlestick right here. I don't know if we're necessarily going to come down there just yet. I do want to point out SPY is looking extremely strong. IWM is looking extremely strong. And DIA is looking the same. QQ was the only one showing this intraday weakness here. And, you know, I'm just going to skip on forward to Mr. VIX over here. And I want to point out, guys, if you see a daily close underneath this daily 9 here, we are probably starting a VIX crush. We are probably going to see VIX come much lower. Maybe even down to the bottom of this little range we got going. All right, you can clear as day see. You have that going on, and then you have this going on, we could call it. All right, so that would be the bottom of a range. It's going to be down near the low over here, which is going to be 1490. All right, we're at the top. Here's the bottom. You actually see a daily close under here, and we very well could start making our way down here. That means over here, the indices could have much further to go. But coming back over to Mr. VIX, I want to cover this before we cover SPY. You do have a 15-minute bullish divergence popping up down here. And then the hourly RSI over here is oversold. As you could see, this, you know, happens to be where this thing likes to bounce back from when it's near oversold territory. It doesn't have to be the case all the time. I do want to point out right here, we're going to mark there, and I want to point out this is what happens when you get your daily close underneath the daily 9. All right. Then we can see, you know, hourly RSI, 15-minute RSI. They really don't matter. We're starting that VIX crush. So if we do get the daily close underneath that daily 9 exponential moving average right here, we are going to be looking for VIX to start crushing. And I really won't care too much about what is happening over here. But for the time being, I will point out you do have the 15-minute bullish divergence, and the hourly RSI over here is oversold. That is reason to be cautious on longs. But again, get the daily close. We're looking real good over there on longs. Okay, now we're going to come over here to SPY, and this is what I was pointing out. QQQ, NASDAQ, Big Tech, that is the thing that is showing the weakness today. SPY's not. S&P 500's not. Dow Jones is not. Russell 2000 is not. Russell 2000 is looking phenomenal. So I'm just going to say, guys, I do think we are going to be continuing this run. We haven't even seen these daily RSIs hit overbought. When have we ever seen a ripper without seeing the daily RSI hit overbought? We don't see it. We are currently in this phase right here of the rally, and I think it's just getting warmed up. I do think we have, you know, much further to go here. But I am also going to say, you know, we have 600 not too far away right now. And, you know, I wouldn't look for much further upside after that. It's a big psychological lever. I can almost guarantee there are going to be sellers stepping in around there. But at the same time, if a lot of people are stepping in front of this thing, who says they're not just going to be the short squeeze fuel to keep it going? All right. So, you know, I know we had a lot of bears coming out, and, you know, specifically over here on NVDA, I want to just repost this guy's chart and call him an idiot. I didn't. I reposted it and gave my thesis instead on, oh, when do you print a weekly candlestick like this and see immediate downside? Oh, wait, you don't. It doesn't freaking happen. But yeah, you know what? I don't like being mean, but I'm going to be completely honest. I just wanted to call that guy a freaking idiot because, quite frankly, guys, anyone posting these bearish weekly charts, they're idiots. Okay? I am not, you know, one to be name calling anyone. I can be an idiot as well. I don't think right now is one of those times, but anyone who is looking for immediate downside coming in this week does not backtest, does not reference historical data. It makes no sense to me. Okay, so yeah, we can see a topping tail, but for what reason do you have to get bearish here? Oh, double top. Oh, ho, ho. Whoa, crazy. No. Crazy? No. It's probably not going to be to happen. They're not going to be the case. We just literally had 3 months of consolidation. Why is it not going to push the highs now? It makes no freaking sense. But again, guys, I'm not one to call names. I myself have been in it before, and you know, many times over and over and over again. That's kind of something that just comes with the territory. I do want to say I recharted most of my tickers here. So you are going to see a bunch of different levels. I figured my charts were getting a little cluttered here. So we took a step back and yeah, as you could see, 130.75, we were paying attention to that 130 psych level. So if this thing is to pull back, that is going to be a major buying opportunity over there. But we do have 136.15 with the fresh breakout. I do have to say, we probably are just going to come straight up to 140.76. I just want to reference this. Like, who the heck is thinking this thing's going to immediately sell? It makes no sense. We have a bunch of market leaders getting ready to rip. Why is the market not going to rip higher? It makes no freaking sense. Okay? SPY, guys, you know, if you pull back, you're watching 580.33, but, you know, I was watching 585, the 585 psych level. That's what I was paying attention going in today, because guys, it's kind of how it's going to be. We are in price discovery mode. We're going to go $5 by $5 here. Okay. The next one after this is going to be $5.90, then $5.95, and then $600 all the way up here. I'm not saying it comes immediately, but I am definitely going to say this daily RSI hasn't even hit overbought yet. So, you know, I know we are reaching like, you know, an extreme greed kind of thing. It may seem like everyone's bullish, but I'm going to tell you, I literally had to unfollow so many people on Twitter just because they're posting nonsense and, you know, they're messing with my own bias. I can clearly look at these charts and just see what they're saying. They're saying, do not be bearish right now. You have no reason to be bearish right now. If you see a big ass top and tail coming out of nowhere, then look for a small pullback. That's all you got to look for. You don't got to complicate things. I will point out, you got this 15-minute bearish divergence popping up here. Typically, when we get those, we do start that you know, pullback there. VIX does happen to have the 15-minute RSI having a bullish divergence right now, while the hourly RSI is oversold. So, you know, it would not be the worst in the world to see this bearish divergence end up playing out here. And then we see price come back down and test the previous high, which is over here, 580.33 as of Friday. All right, so just things for you to, you know, keep in the back of your mind here for you to make your own thesis, okay? I got my own, guys. We're bullish until we're not. You have no reason not to be bullish. We were very bullish on this pullback over here, and then we saw this pullback into the all-time high, and we said the same exact thing. Now I'm just going to say, all right, back here was the time when you should have been loading longs. Here is the time when you should be exiting longs. I'm not saying there aren't, you know, fresh setups for us to play. I am strictly pointing out these indices here. If you were, you know, bullish on the dip and you're loading up here, maybe you trimmed in here. Maybe you loaded up right here. You trim over here. So I'm just saying, I'm calling it how I see it. And that is, you know, what I think wise decisions would have been here. Okay. If you loaded up down here, you are cutting on this rip. So just keep in mind. I know no one wants to be reminded. Take your profits. Nobody wants to be reminded. But I will remind you. Okay? So SPY on the downside, 580.33, 577.71, and then 574.71. We have absolutely nothing to worry about here. On the upside, we are just going to be watching the 590 cycle, well, 585 cycle level, and then the 590 above there. Okay? IWM. This is, you know, another reason I say, like, why are people bearish right now? Like, there clearly are, you know, like all market sectors right now are popping off. Not all of them, but, you know, the ones we pay attention to, they're popping off. The major indices are looking like they're going to continue popping off. IWM, it hasn't even freaking started yet. Okay, like this is why I say it makes no sense for people to sit there being perma bears, calling for, oh, a big market crash. Oh, nobody's gonna expect it. Who cares? We're all gonna see it happen in real time, and then you can change and adjust in real time. Anybody not thinking like that is not thinking about the markets in an accurate way. It's just dumb. All right. Sorry if I'm hurting feelings. All right. But you know, I think it needs to be said. And, you know, I said what I said in the weekly update. Very bullish on that. And, you know, now I'm seeing confirmation that, you know, when I'm saying these things before they actually happen, guess what? All right. A lot of the times I'm nervous about it because I don't know what's going to happen. But then I also remember, hey, all right, we've seen this many, many, many times before. And typically when we see these things, it leads to certain things. Guys, we had a fresh breakout over here on the weekly time frame. You held the weekly 9 over here. Now it is looking like you're about to thrust up and have that next leg up. You also have this little inverse head and shoulders kind of look to you. You also have this double bottom kind of look to you. Guess what? This thing's going higher. We're probably going to head up to 230, okay? And guys, look how clean this is, okay? Fresh breakout over here. As support, we are paying attention to 219.98 and underneath there, 218.37. Now, I'm just going to give my opinion here. I don't think that's going to be hit, all right? You've already gotten up to the 0.786 fib. For all I know, you're going to get a gap up above this tomorrow and start heading towards that next 224.94 level. We are currently hitting our head right now on 222.60 resistance. But as you can see, the 0.786 fib is right here. And, you know, you actually do have a gnarly 15-minute bearish divergence. But as you can see, we are pushing up into a key spot here. And if you can just get above it tomorrow, you probably are going to continue along your merry way. This thing looks like, yeah, you had a bunch of consolidation. Now you're resuming the ripper. You're going to get one of these. You're going to get one of these. You're going to get one of these. This is day number 2. Expect more. DIA, how we looking over here? Phenomenal. All right, phenomenal. We got the break and retest off of the range over here. What happened next? You freaking rallied. Again, daily RSI is still not overbought. Like anybody, you know, calling for a market crash when this hasn't even happened makes no freaking sense. All right, pretty much on all these rips, we see these things get at least up to the 70 mark on the daily RSI. None of them have reached there yet. Why are people so bearish? Does not make sense to me. All right. Like, you know, there's people with just tens of thousands of freaking followers on Twitter. And I'm like, dude, you have the same market, like the same amount of time in the market as me or more. And you're looking at things this way. It's stupid. Okay. It's stupid. And maybe they're just forgetting. Everyone forgets from time to time. It is okay. All right. So now we're going to come over the big boys. We're going to go over the FANG stocks, guys. You are, again, trying to break out of that downtrend right there. I'm still just going to say get above 232.92. That is when you are going to see 237.23 and then likely 240. Why 240? Well, we talked about this in the weekly update. This is your range right now. The range is about boom, boom, boom. Okay, so you could be doing a boom, boom, boom up to 242. I think that's where we saw over there. So that is what we are paying attention to, okay? So if you start falling back, watch this daily 9 over here. If you get underneath the daily 9, watch for a move down to the bottom of the range at 224.04. But other than that, guys, look for you to keep pushing up. You look like you probably are just getting started. Microsoft, how we looking? Sexy, okay? Sexy and bearish at the same time. All right. I don't like the fact that, you know, you got this large upper wick now. I was looking for you to get above this daily 9, get above 420.38, and then make a straight shot up to 425.86. You did not. You got up to 424, and then you face planted. All right. So what I do want to point out here is you are getting above that daily 9, and tomorrow, if you can stay above that, that is not the worst look, and we probably are going to start pushing up over here on Microsoft. Now, we'll point out on the 4-hour RSI, guys, it was already oversold. We have like an inverse headed shoulders kind of look here. Buyers came in right around the 0.786 fib. This thing looks like it's going to continue higher. All right, just my opinion. Goog, what are we looking at, guys? What are we looking at? All right, we all know we had our downtrend break over here, and we've just taken our dear sweet time. We also knew that this pullback was just going to be putting in a right shoulder on this chart. We didn't know if it was going to happen here or if it was going to come down and make an equivalent low to that left shoulder. We had absolutely no idea, but what we do know right now is price has gotten above the daily 9 again, and we could very well be seeing momentum return into the stock over here. You've, you know, traded flat, relatively flat for quite some time. All right, that is like over 3 weeks. You've done pretty much absolutely nothing. Yes, you push up to 170.41, and you've created your neckline. All right, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break above 170.41, look for a move up to 175.91 in the short term, and you very well could go around that 180 cycle level. Meta, what are we watching over here, guys? All right, you got a pretty ugly daily candlestick. Watch for buyers to start, stepping back in around that 583.04 level. That is where you had them stepping in 3 days in a row over here. You also will have the daily 9. What I do want to point out is the fact that you are doing this and not just pushing up for next leg up. That is concerning. All right, it's not the end of the world. You had something not too good come out over here, and then you just found buyers again. But we also have gone on a ripper over here, and a pullback would be a buying opportunity. I think it would be very healthy for the stock. You printed this candlestick last week. We will see how this week's prints. But I'm bullish on this pullback. I welcome the pullback. I will also remind everyone, hey, all right, weekly RSI has not gotten into overbought territory. On all of these rips, it got into overbought territory. This pullback is a buying opportunity. I stand by that. No market crashes right around the corner. We have elections. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Amazon, what do we got? All right. You are seeing sellers step in right here at the 0.618 fib. I am getting annoyed by Amazon, but I will tell you right now, I am just going to sit patiently here. Break and retest off of our little buy zone down there. You held the weekly 9. You got back above it after, again, rejection. That's technically, that's like 5 rejections right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You finally got above it, and now you're finding buyers there. I really like the look of this weekly chart. Daily chart's just going to need some time over here. We don't know how, immediate buyers are going to be stepping in. If price comes back to test that daily 9, then you know where buyers are likely going to step in at the daily 9. All right, you had the breakout level of 187.60. Ideally, we do see buyers defend there. We are already seeing... Oh, I always do that. We are already seeing buyers step in there. The question is, are they going to hold there? If they do, this honestly looks amazing. Let's try and get a lower wick by the end of the day. It is currently 2:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have about an hour and 20 minutes left in the trading session, so there is time to see this thing, heat back up, putting that lower wick, but we'll see. If not, you have like the dark cloud cover, whatever candlestick you got. I think it's called the dark cloud cover. And that is something that, could, mark a few days of down. All right. Moving on over here to Tesla. What do we got, guys? Buyers are still stepping in today at the 0.618 fib. I will just again remind everyone, 4-hour RSI is oversold. Even on regular hours, you still have it oversold. And this is what I want to point out here. All right, you're like, oh, Henry, it gets oversold. I'm gonna say right now, all right, although this is bouncing right here, it can go lower. Why do I think it might not go lower this time around? This is when you kept making these lower lows. Like look at this. All right, low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Okay. Now, when you came down here for a cycle low there, it was not in oversold territory. Well, what do we have? A higher low, and then you pushed up. And then what do we also have? Another higher low, and you pushed up, and you got into overbought territory, and then you came back. And what do we have again? Another higher low. I'm not saying it happens, but I'm definitely going to point out there is a change in structure here. All right, on the, I know we're on the 4-hour, but this would be on the weekly time frame. You kept making lower lows. Every time you did this, it was shoving down to a lower low. Right now, we are now on the second cycle here of, well, technically, you got 1, you got 2, we're on the third cycle here of higher lows, which does tell me, hey, maybe the exact same thing happens over here and over here, where we don't even get down in, like, deep into oversold territory like all of these. All right, so just something to keep in mind. We definitely do have, a structural change there on the larger time frames. I think that could lead to, oversold indicators getting less oversold than they normally do, or than what we have seen in the past when we, again, had the weekly downtrend. All right, and, just to really show what I'm talking about, you see? All right, lower low compared to over here, lower low, lower low, lower low, higher low, higher low, higher low. All right, put the hammer down. Boom. Okay, and then you add that guy. All right, I know it looks real sloppy, which is why we're not going to keep it on there. But yeah, it's getting tight and it wants to freaking move. I think it's probably going to make that move. I thought, the recent event was going to give it a nice little catalyst there. It did not. It was the opposite. It killed it. And now it's back down here. I think we're probably at least going to see a bounce up to 233.09. Above 223.34, we're watching 233.09. Now, guys, we're going to go over the semiconductors. SMH, you're pushing up to the 0.786 fib. Watch 264 resistance. That's your gap resistance. But if you can get above there, we're really just going to be looking for price to get above 265. We're going to play it safe here at 265.50. Get above 265.50. I think you're probably just going to keep running straight up. Well, maybe not straight up, but we know you were probably coming up here. So maybe it would go something like this. Something like that. All right. Break above here. 100% retracement becomes likely. And then there you have it. Okay. On the downside of support, we do have the zone over here, 255.73 down to 253.32. Look for buyers to defend there if tested. The daily 9 will be right there. So if we get that, you probably are at least going to get that dead cat bounce. And that dead cat bounce can be lucrative. Talking like $5 moves. That is a decent gain over here. NVDA. What do we got, guys? We talked about this already. We're coming to 140.76, and then we're probably going to 145, then 150. This thing just now hit the daily RSI overbought. So this is what I was saying. People were getting bearish without these things actually happening, and it makes no freaking sense to me. It really doesn't, all right? This chart is phenomenal. It just started releasing all of this energy. I'm not a hippie. All right, let's just look at it. You had a lot of buy and sell orders. Price, the people are going nuts. But, in the end, you're getting a bunch of consolidation, and now you have everybody on one side releasing that energy. Okay, you have a constant battle here, and then you get everyone on one side releasing all of that tension. That is what's happening on this chart. All right, so support 136.15 and then 130 psych level underneath there. That is also the exact high of this candlestick. All right, or we were watching this. We're watching that guy right there, but clearly 130 is going to be respected better than that. AMD, what do we got, guys? You're still just finding buyers here at this break and retest. I am just going to say it's not the prettiest looking thing. I don't like how, a lot of the other ones are up. A lot of the other semis are up right now, and AMD is just doing this. It reminds me of Avgo and SMCI right now, especially SMCI. It's looking like a dead dog. I don't like it. All right, we don't like no dead dogs. We want our dogs nice and alive. All right. But you do have your fresh breakout here. If you pull back and test the weekly 9 right here, maybe it comes back to 160. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I know it looks bad on this daily time frame, but on the weekly over there, it does not look bad. Something to keep in mind with. Resistance is going to be 174.05. And in the short term, if you could take out 169.35, you probably do start coming back up to the highs. Or is 162.04. Avgo, what do we got, guys? You're just consolidating again. I don't like how everything else is up, and this thing is just, trading flat. I don't think that's a good look at all. I think we could get a pullback here. Maybe you do end up revisiting the zone, and then you continue higher from there. Again, it would not be the worst look. You got the weekly 9 sitting here. So what? We print another hammer candles that give us a buying opportunity before, really having that extension style move. That's what I think is probably coming over here. But, again, same concept, guys. Weekly RSI has not hit overbought territory. Right here at the top, you hit overbought territory, and then you still went a little higher. You have not hit that over here, and it doesn't have to hit that, but most of these are going to do so. If you were coming up and breaking the high, you're probably having your impulsive move. Impulsive move typically gets weekly RSI overbought. There you go. It's not like over here when you did not take out the high. We literally just took out the high. Okay, it is like all these occurrences where you have these continuation style moves, and you're going to keep seeing this thing pull back and then get re-overbought. That is what we have here. Okay, and it really hasn't started. You know what did start? The one we were talking about, focus on quite a bit here. ARM. What do we got on ARM, guys? All right, I want to make this look real pretty for us. You got this uptrend. You held that uptrend. We literally called it out right there. We're going to make this look so pretty for us, okay? What do we got going on, guys? What do we got? All right. You had sellers step in right here. We're going to add here. And guys, I give you all the tools you need on this channel to really, see these charts in the way that will be respected. All right. You got your golden pocket. You got your support and resistance. You have your, your 9 exponential moving average. You don't need to add much to these things, okay? You just need to know where to look. And at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to say right now, get above 170, and we probably are going to make a straight run for 188. Now, I did point out in the zone when we were consolidating, I took off the zone, but if we're going to go like, I think it was over here. All right, guys, so you're consolidating in the zone. Guess what? This pullback was just the high of over here. This was not actually the zone. It was all the way down here. It was something like this. Yeah, it was right there, okay? But this is what I was saying. Not clean looking at all. All right, so you got this zone. You had a bunch of consolidation occurring, and now you're releasing that energy. You are going higher. Get above 170. You're probably going to have 100% retracement. I did mention that if you can get through that zone, I think you're getting ready for, you know, a squeeze type of move like that. I mentioned that when we were literally right here. That is, I'll keep giving the reminders. Even when charts don't look the best, I will give the reminders of how things are really looking. Things were looking pretty phenomenal over here. You got above the weekly 9, and this was just, you know, kind of retesting that. And then you launched off of that. This looks phenomenal. This looks like it's coming back up to all-time highs. All right. ARM Holdings, ladies and gentlemen. ARM looking phenomenal. If you pull back into 152.22, that is your buying opportunity. All right. TSM. What do we got, guys? We're at all-time highs. Not much to say on this one. I'm going to be completely honest. We're just going to say pull back into 189.33. That is your break and retest. But other than that, you don't have anything until you come all the way back over to our inverse head and shoulders neckline over here. Got that. We got that. All right. And this whole area here is your neckline. Unless you can make that move, there's really nothing to go off over here. You did push the all-time highs this week, which was looking very likely from these weekly closes last week. I'm not going to say how much higher you were going from here, but I will point out daily RSI is not overbought. So I do think we are going to continue seeing higher prices here. 195 psych level, 200 psych level. That's what you pay attention to on the upside. On the downside, 189.33. And then under there, I'm going to be honest, like, you know, there's really nothing until 180.79, but, you know, you'd be losing the daily 9, okay? And then you could get your deeper pullback. We don't want to see that. We'll see. MU, all right? Same exact look you got going on. Nothing has changed over here, so we're really not going to talk about it, okay? You have that, and you have your 111. Boom, boom, boom. All right, right here, guys. Right there. That's the only thing you gotta, you know, concern yourself on this chart is wait for your breakout here. The daily close above 111. From that point, you go here. All right, from that point, you go here. There's literally nothing in between this. You went straight down. You went straight down. You do not need to complicate things. You do not. You know, you swept all over here, perfect double bottom. From that point on, all right, we saw this push. We knew this dip was probably going to be the buying opportunity, but at the end of the day, you get a daily close above 111. That's when your real move starts for this double bottom. Nothing has changed there. Absolutely nothing. But as you can see, you have absolutely nothing in between there and there. SMCI, how we looking? I'm just going to say, all right, I'm going to cut this one on the next bounce. I don't think this thing... I don't know. I feel like every time I have that feeling of like, oh, I'm waiting on the edge of my seat, and then I decide to finally give up on it, and I move forward. Guess what? The thing typically runs. So, yeah, keep that one in mind there. But I am definitely going to say you continuously get rejection here, and I don't like it. All right? I don't like how there's weakness over here on this stock, as most of the other chips, rocket ship, and SMA right now is up 2%. That is ugly. That is not something you want to see. You wanted to see this thing, you know, launch off of here and go for a run. It continuously got rejection here. Okay, so, you know, until you can honestly get a daily close above this 47.86 level, I wouldn't be expecting too much over here. We were watching 50.10. The new level to watch is going to be 47.87. That is really the only spot you have to pay attention to. If you can get the daily close above there, that is when this thing's going to move. You have 1 rejection, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, now 8. Get above 47.86 with a daily close. That's the only reason you should be looking for, you know, this upside continuation here. Until then, you're stuck. All right, you're stuck, and you have to accept that. BTC. Sexy. All right. Sexy. And, you know, as you can see, this weekly chart is also now sexy. This thing is probably going to be breaking out. This thing breaks above 66,508. It is nothing until 70K. I like it. All right. I think it is most definitely getting ready to break out. It would not pull back. Hit it with the double bottom, break double bottom neckline and push the high again. If it was just going to fall flat in his face, that's just not going to be how this goes with all likelihood. This is very likely going to actually be moving up here. And I will point out, daily RSI has not actually had one of these runs in quite some time. You really haven't. You've had this one fall short. You've had this one fall short. That one fell short. I think we probably have one right around the corner where we get an impulsive move here and we see this thing go for a ride. That is reason to pay attention to these things. Now, I actually got completely out of this today, and I'm kind of regretful on that. I wish I at least left a runner because you're probably coming straight up here to 207.71. You know, I'm not going to complain. I ain't going to complain. Guess what? Fresh breakout from the downtrend over here. I know you have that going on. We'll just, is that on log scale? Yeah, we are on log scale there. All right, so actually today was your fresh breakout over there. You got above 192.45. You now have the higher low on the daily time frame followed by the higher high. That is something notable. You have this heavy volume here on the weekly chart. It looks absolutely phenomenal. You're finally getting above that weekly 9. You got rejected there. You got rejected there. You finally got above it. You close above this week. This thing's probably going for a ride up into this golden pocket at least. And then, you know, Bitcoin does actually make a run for all-time highs. Coin's probably going to play a crap ton of catch-up. MSTR ran its butt off. Coin is probably going to play an absurd ton of catch-up. I don't like how MARA and CLSK are moving. But I do want to point out the absolutely phenomenal setup over on MARA right after this one. All right, guys, above 192.45, we have nothing. Again, nothing until 207.71. That's where you broke down from. That is where you got a break and retest off of. It is going to be a level that's respected, so I would not think price is just going to run straight through it. We'll see what happens, but, you know, expect sellers there. All right, profits there. I don't like telling people to take their profits because what if it just keeps running? All right. But I'm also just going to be that friendly reminder there that you should definitely be expecting sellers here. And then maybe you take off most there and have a runner for over here. And then you should definitely be expecting sellers there. Best case scenario at one of these points, you get a pullback and you just get to re-enter. Full position. There you go. All right. So that's coin. Now we're going to go over MARA. MARA over here, guys, does have a pretty clean inverse head and shoulders kind of look to it. Neckline of this is going to be 1884. It is technically just the zone because you didn't reach it up there. So, I mean, I guess it would actually just be 1822 over here. Regardless, this zone is what you're paying attention to, 1884. A break above that means you have nothing until you get all the way up to 22 schmeckles. Okay, that is a $3 move right there. 15% move. That is gains. All right. Increasing volume on the day. I don't want to see this close out with a large upper wick here. I would like to see it close out strongly. And then that would hint maybe we get some more upside the following day. All right. It really is going to come down to what Bitcoin does. But if Bitcoin does start really pushing, these things are going to play catch up. And we could see these good things go for a really quick ride up here. All right. But the move I am playing here is that. Targeting 22. CLSK. I also really like the look of this guy. All right. We have this 15 level right here, which was the absolute bottom of the range. That is when you establish the range all the way back over here with the low of that candlestick. You do have the 0.618 fibs and right above there. But 15 is the level that, you know, if you're entering down here, you should very well be taking your profits up here at 15 bucks. No financial advice will be given on this channel. Above 1047, you have pretty much nothing until 1275. Above there, we're looking for that $15 cycle level to be hit. Increasing volume on the day already. You look like you probably are going to close out towards the highs. Looking better than MARA, honestly. You're getting above your weekly 9 there. I'm liking the look of CLSK here. Okay, I'm really liking it. And now it's on your radar. MSTR. What do we got on our radar right now, guys? I did get my alert not too long ago. For, you know, the retest of this 200 level. I am just going to say, if we get it into this zone, this is your big buying opportunity over here in MSTR. This thing just had its big breakout. I can almost guarantee it's not over just yet. We are probably just retesting that. That would actually be this right here. Retest. Rocket ship. I'm not saying it's going to move like that because, you know, market cap is a lot more. Okay. Market cap is now 37 billion. It could move a lot easier when it was all the way down there. Not at that. Okay. That is, yeah. All right. That is 90% gone of that market cap we just spoke about. But I also want to point out here, this was all consolidation above the previous high. This is honestly probably just getting started. I know it's already up here. This thing it's known to squeeze. It just started. The market is favoring this one for some reason over every other crypto stock there. There has to be a reason there. And I can, you know, just take the guess that, yeah, it probably will continuously see more strength come into this thing because it's not looking weak. All right. Pullbacks are buying opportunities over here. We're talking $200. We're talking 180.70. If you test there, you're probably putting a hammer around this daily 9 there. If not, that's going to be not the best look at all. And then underneath there, you have 174. I really like this pullback over here, but, you know, I'm also just going to say, I know for a fact coin hasn't ran. So this is going to be, you know, my focus over here. And then MARA has the setup. And then CLSK also has a really clean setup. So MSTR, we called it out on the downtrend break over here. We called it out a few times, actually. All right. Downtrend break and retest right there. We called it out on the breakout. We called it out on the retest. We also called it somewhere over here. Why? Because you were testing the golden pocket and it was looking absolutely perfect. All right. I don't know why the freaking stupid magnet always going to mess with me. I wish I could like left click and the magnet would shut off for like a second so I wouldn't have to constantly go back and change it. All right. But that is MSTR for you. Those are the crypto stocks, guys. I've told you where I see this opportunity. We're talking CLSK. We're talking MARA. We're talking coin. MSTR, yes, pullback opportunity, but it has already ran massively. Coin is probably going to be playing catch up. Okay. Last thing we're going to talk about right now is just a trade idea that I think is just getting warmed up. We talked about it here on this big gap up, and I'm going to talk about it right now. This thing is probably about to go for a ride. It is probably just the pullback that creates the right shoulder right before you take out $35.99, and then you make a run for that $40 mark up there. This is something that I think is about to heat up. So put it on your radar. I think we're coming up here, and then I think we're coming up here. All right, guys. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate your time, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Join me over on Twitter if you want to come trade with me. Link is down below for the Discord. But definitely check out that Twitter link. I will post charts on the fly, so you do not have to wait till the end of the day for these videos. All right. That being said, catch y'all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of their day, and peace.